Women are often seen as impossible to turn on by certain guys, and many men truly believe that it takes some special voodoo magic. However, those who often succeed with women will be the first to tell you that it is not that difficult. Much like men have a few triggers that no one can resist, women also have incredible triggers that turn them on. The only problem for some men is finding them. However, once you've watched this video fully, you will have the 7 secret spots that most guys miss, and since women are generally the same, you can simply just apply the same recipe to all women you encounter. Keep in mind that this list will be from least effective to most effective, and it is also recommended that you follow this order. But first, which other ways are there that make women go crazy aside from physical touch? Secret ways to turn women on without touch. The great thing about the female mind is that they have an incredible imagination. Women in general tend to love fantasizing, and this also means that they are right brain dominant. Now, being more creative comes with its fair share of pros and cons, but it does make women more susceptible to fantasy. One of the best ways you can turn her on without even touching her is simply by talking to her. Women enjoy conversation, whether this is over text message or in person. They have incredible imaginations that can often allow them to turn themselves on in some cases. The way to go about turning her on with your words does mean that you need her to feel comfortable around you. When she is comfortable, you can talk in a calm and low voice, which tends to be more seductive. Keep eye contact and you should be able to set the scene. But adding to this is the fact that your body language is also extremely powerful. And many women have admitted that seeing a guy walk or talk is a sure way to turn them on. However, this doesn't mean you should just walk around. No. You see, this takes confidence, and it is not as much what he does with his body, but the confidence with which he does it. It is this intense level of self-confidence that often makes men incredibly attractive to women, and it is also the main reason they choose the elusive bad boy in many situations. But now that you have seen these unique ways, which places can you physically touch that will turn her on? Let's find out. Number 1. Touching her with confidence and boldness. One of the most important things to understand before you look at the various specific places is how you need to touch her. Now, almost every woman is different, but one thing we have already mentioned is the fact that confidence overrules virtually anything else, and you will need to get a grip on becoming confident. Once you manage to become confident, where you touch her doesn't matter as much as how you touch her. You see, women have this natural primal urge of being ravished by the right man, and once they find someone that can do this, he can make any spot he touches into something that turns her on. You need to understand that you cannot be shy when you touch her, as she will feel that you don't have the confidence to make your mark or to show her who you truly are, and she will often just feel like it is another one of her friends that's touching her. However, gaining confidence from touching women can be daunting. You see, the only true way to be comfortable touching women is when you are used to doing it. This comes down to the same principle of why men who have had multiple relationships are so attractive, and it is simply because they have the experience. And with the experience comes confidence. So as a piece of advice to keep in mind, if you want to touch a woman in some way, you should go for it and actually touch her. Yes, she might reject you, but at least you're confident. Now keep in mind, this doesn't mean you should harass a woman. You should also read the situation, and if both of you are comfortable, you can touch her. Another important thing that turns her on, which links to this part, is being respectful. You see, many men will want to go in for the kill and directly aim for second base. Unfortunately, this is extremely disrespectful, and women will want you to know that they have a little bit of self-respect that you should keep in mind. The whole thing women truly enjoy is the courting process, which is something that makes her feel like she is being hunted by the man. Number 2. The neck is a massive trigger point. Whether you know it or not, hundreds of nerve endings come together at various points in the neck. It is also for this reason that neck pain from an injury could lead to someone being unable to use certain limbs or causing long-term injuries to the body. However, these nerve endings are extremely sensitive to both men and women, and when you touch them gently, they can have an incredible effect on the body. Women will definitely want you when you have mastered how to deal with the neck and what you can do as a way of making her feel comfortable with you. Now, touching the neck can be done in a variety of ways, but perhaps the easiest one, which doesn't lead to too many questions, is the neck massage. The great thing about this massage is the fact that you can offer it to someone and they might just see it as some sort of way of being kind. Gentle touches are required around the neck due to their incredible sensitivity. But once you have learned the way of touching your neck with a massage, the next part is easy. From the massage, another very important trick is that any mouth contact in the neck can be a massive turn-on for women, and women would want you to kiss them. In fact, kissing someone in the neck is a surefire way to turn her on, and this is often the most sensitive spot for women when they are in the early stages of making out and just before things truly get rowdy. However, make sure that you don't push too hard and keep your fingers gliding over her neck and shoulders. You want her to feel the touch against her skin, and this has nothing to do with actually reducing stress and tension in her muscles. A professional massage can be very painful, and this is not something someone wants when they have other things on their mind. Number 3. Moving on to the ears. Another very sensitive spot for women is often the ears, and much like the neck, they tend to be incredibly sensitive when it comes to the ears and turning them on. You see, women and men alike have this same dual combination of the ears and neck, and due to all the nerves in these parts of the body, it can often cause goosebumps. However, the ears are something that would require you to be a little more patient and use some caution. Much like the ears are sensitive and can lead to sexual arousal in women, it is also very easy to hurt the ears and cause some significant pain for her if you're not gentle enough. The ears are better left for your mouth, as this is an incredible area to kiss and even use your breath to create some arousal. However, playing with her hair whilst you are caressing the earlobes is a massive way to turn her on. However, this should not be done too much, as the ears can quickly lose their sensitivity. Since this list doesn't focus on being chronological, it is best if you can combine this with some of the other things like being in her neck. The neck is one of the best spots to combine with the ears, and when you can use your hands to play with her hair, it is often a little easier. You will notice that the combination of her ears and neck should be very powerful, and this will allow you to start making moves as well. Yes, you want to notice her body, and you will see that she gives you an indication when she is ready. This will allow you to also move on to some of the other points of interest that should be extremely attractive. Number 4. The hands and forearm. One thing many men often neglect is that the hands and forearms are some of the most powerful places to touch when you are dealing with women, and these spots often react depending on the situation and how you touch her. One thing you've probably noticed is that the first reaction from a woman when you touch the hands or the arms is that she reacts by looking directly into your eyes. This means that the difference between a seductive and a friendship touch lies in the way you carry your body language. Once your body language is on point, your eyes will do all the talking, and she will begin to flow with you in the same way she does when she is led by the ideal man. But where should you touch her first when you have the opportunity to go for the hands? Well, it is best to test the waters by slightly touching her on the forearms, which tends to establish that connection of touch in her mind. Once you manage to break through this barrier of frustration of whether or not you should make the move, the next important part is the hands, but it is best to start with the fingers. If you are seducing her, you want to gently caress her fingers and see if she is receptive. If she is, she will likely open her hands, which is when you can slide your fingers in between hers and create the holding hands situation. Breaking through this point is vital, and when you manage to grip her hands, you can establish a little more dominance by gently squeezing it. But you need to understand that all of these are motions that go together, and once you have established touch of the hands, you can go for the neck as well. A woman who is turned on will actually expect that you go for the neck, which is actually what turns her on even more. Combining these two will yield some incredible results. You see, the hands and forearms are a great way to establish contact and slowly work your way into some of the deeper and more sophisticated spots. Never ignore that initial stage of contact. Number 5. Lower back. The lower back is next on this list, and being such a subtle and gentle spot, it is one of those hidden areas that men often neglect. The lower back is also a massive concentration of various nerve endings that all come together, and this is the reason why lower back pain can be so excruciating. A soft touch to the lower back can often create some excitement, and it could set up more and more touch opportunities. However, there is one way in which the top men tend to use the lower back as a way of establishing their dominance. Whenever you find yourself walking through a crowd, it is proper etiquette to allow the woman to walk in front of you. You don't want to be the one pulling her along when you can guide her. It shows even more confidence from her side that you are the one that is truly leading. One of the best ways to go about doing this is to gently place your hand on her lower back and use it as a way of steering her when you are walking through crowds. This will give her an indication that you are a gentleman and that you know what you are doing. Another important thing to keep in mind is that whenever you do get a little more intimate with her, the hips also become a very pivotal point of control. This has a psychological effect on women, which allows them to trust that you are the one controlling them. It even works when she is on top. Adding to this is the neck massage that we spoke about earlier. Since the lower back is such a sensitive part of her body, you can also go for the soft lower back massage, and this will more than likely turn her on. As you can see, the lower back is one of the most powerful areas of a woman's body, and when you use it correctly, it should yield some impressive results. Number 6. The feet. As you might have noticed by now, one of the main focal points of this video is to focus on points where there are plenty of nerve endings in the human body. You see, the feet are where all the nerves actually come together, and it is where she will feel the most things, especially when it comes to touch. Now, keep in mind that if she is quite ticklish in her feet, this might not yield you the best results, and you might find that everything turns into a joke or giggles. But the traditional foot massage is definitely something that you might want to consider, especially when you're looking to turn her on. The great thing about the foot massage is that it can set the stage for a relaxing feeling, but this can be taken even further when you do manage to get her into bed. Since the feet are so sensual, kissing and slightly nibbling on the toes might be very arousing for certain women. However, many women might also see this as being weird, which means that communication is a very important thing. The great thing about the feet is that it can open up many more doors for you, which will allow you to do other things that you might not know how to get to. Since getting her to sleep with you is the ultimate goal, having access to the legs and following her sensual body reactions will let you clearly understand when it is time for you to move it up a gear. Number 7. The inner thighs. Now, the final one can be a little more complicated, and it is not something that comes off well in public. For this final spot, it is far better to stick to using it behind closed doors or in a public way that doesn't make her feel cheap. You see, the moment a woman starts feeling cheap, her mind will automatically tell her things like she is being used. It is for this reason that you will need to make her feel like she's being respected and that you are in fact a gentleman that not only respects her, but also respects her body for what it is. The inner thighs will be your goal, but it can be a journey getting there. For some men, simply touching her inner thigh when she is next to you might be easy, and when you have the confidence to directly go for the golden shot, you should take it. But for most men, you might need to start with the feet, which gives you access to the lower parts of the legs. With gentle touches, you can establish a ton of arousal by sliding your hands and fingers up and down her legs. This also gives you access to moving her legs around. The idea is to start from the lower legs around the calf area and slowly work your way up to the inner thigh. Once you manage to reach the inner thigh, you can gently use your hand to caress this area, which should enable you to create even more of an intimate effect on her body. You will notice by now that her body is reacting, and she might even be the one who starts making a few moves of her own. Once you reach the inner thighs and you are permitted to kiss this area, you will automatically notice that the demeanor changes from playful to something more serious. Once you see this serious nature now come to the forefront more and more, you will be empowered to actually move up and go for the kiss. In 99% of situations, she will be highly receptive to this kiss. As complicated as the female body might seem, it is actually quite easy to turn a woman on. Once you manage to push the right buttons, things will significantly change, and she will be far more receptive. However, there are a couple things that high-value men do that significantly turn a woman on. So make sure to check out this next video and find out why.